one commissioned under orders. An apostle is one who speaks for the one he represents. It's kind of like an ambassador. Paul says he was commissioned by Christ, and he insists that he was an apostle long before he knew the other apostles. You remember, after Paul's conversion, I believe it took him almost 14 years, if I quite remember in one of his writings. Before, I believe he was in Arabia, somewhere. I don't want to get it all mixed up. So, apostle is this one who is sent. Folks even want to give me that name, over here. A lot of folks say that to me. I'm like, why do you call me an apostle? They say you were sent from Africa to come speak to us here. I said, well, I've never considered myself like that. Then a good friend of mine in Africa that I had spoken with about a week ago, Dr. Bella, and then I had spoken with him. I said, you also called me this. I'm like, why everybody keep calling me an apostle? So anyway, so an apostle is the one who is sent, one commission under orders. I guess I am, because lately, I was just packing, I have this sense of urgency just to go and preach. And I have done everything, I can't shake it off. Today I was getting ready to leave, and the weather was not good. I can't just shake it off. It's just, you would understand it. It's something beyond my own understanding. Okay, you don't have to understand that. I don't have to. But there's this sense of urgency that it's like I have to do it or something else. And I don't want to know what else is out there if I did not obey. So I have to obey. So that's the meaning of an apostle. And again, he insists. His calling came when he was traveling to Damascus. I told you guys already, right? To persecute Christians. He had a direct high voltage, high encounter and relationship with the living Lord, Jesus Christ, who called him to be an apostle. Jesus had appeared to him on the road to Damascus. The living Christ had certified his gospel and commissioned him and interpreted the historical Jesus for him. So in 2 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 12 shows that Paul is who he says he is. He is sent as an ambassador. He used that word. That is 1 Corinthians chapter 12 verse 12 shows that Paul is who he says he is. Let's look at that. First Corinthians. I want to make sure I'm quoting right. 2 Corinthians 12:12. Let me thank God for technology. Let me look at that. 2 Corinthians 12:12. Let me look at that fast. 2 Corinthians chapter 12 and verse 12 says, I preserved in demonstrating among you the marks of a true apostle, including signs, wonders, and miracles. So, the one sent, Paul was saying here, as a matter of fact, he started from verse 12, he said, I have made a fool. He said, I have made a fool of myself, but you drove me to it. I ought to have been commended by you, for I am not in the least inferior to this super apostles, even though I am nothing. I persevered in demonstrating among you the marks of a true apostle, including signs, wonders, and miracles, which Paul did. Remember, Paul did a lot of stuff, resurrected folks. Paul was powerful. God used him, and I'm believing God should use all of us like that in these days. So He is sent as an ambassador. An ambassador is concerned or concerned not about himself, but about the one who has authority over him. He speaks not in his own name, but in the name of another. That is the duty and a task of an ambassador. This is why believers, we preach the gospel. We present the gospel. What I'm doing now, I'm presenting the gospel. I'm not making up anything along the way. Yeah, I bring in personal experience, my personal experience, and as example to clarify to make a point to what I'm talking about. But it is the gospel. So you are an ambassador. I'm an ambassador. You don't have to be at the pulpit to be an ambassador. Once you are born again, you know, you can talk to somebody. You can lead folks to Christ. Because I may not be at your job, right? And wherever you are, that is what you do, you know. What I'm doing here is to equip you. As the book says, I believe in Paul's, one of Paul's epistles, in, I believe, Ephesians chapter 4, is to equip you with the knowledge so you become an ambassador at your office, at your job. What do you do as an ambassador? You speak of Christ, you represent Christ there. Even your boss, you look for ways, you pray for your boss. Some of you, maybe you are at your job just for that reason. So if you haven't been praying for your superior at your job, take it from me today. It's a prophecy. You go home and you start praying for your superior, whether it is your immediate supervisor, manager, or the CEO of the company. Because you are Christ's ambassador. And one of those requirements as a believer is to pray for those in authority. So you are an ambassador, just as Paul is. Although there are original apostles, I believe in theological studies, scholars like to put it that way. Original apostles are those who have witnessed Christ, those who walked with Christ, those 12 disciples. But Paul could also be included because Jesus, after Jesus resurrected, that was when Jesus revealed himself to Paul. And Jesus walked with Paul just as he walked with the 12 for the purpose of the Gentiles. And we're reading Paul's letters today. Isn't that awesome? Yeah, so he's sent to all these folks. So again, he speaks not on his own. Ambassador speaks not on his own, but in the name of another. His worth, whose worth, the ambassador's worth, is not important, but the work of the one he represents is important, not even much more. It is like, when I look at the government today, I'm talking about America, depending on every administration, sometimes it is the president that appoints his ambassadors. I believe that there will be a recommendation, but he will have a relationship with that individual. So, for instance, say one individual is being appointed to go to Germany and represent United States of America. He's not going there on his own. He doesn't have to be saying anything that contradicts what the current administration believes in. He has to say exactly as the president of the United States of America. So it is with every nation. So the one who sent you is important. Apostleship originates with God. Now, man, for an apostle, is called from outside the world to do a work inside the world. This is why Paul, no, it was John who says, we are in the world, but not of the world. What does that mean? Paul even says something in one of his epistles. He said, he was talking about difference between, I believe, Christian and a believer and unbeliever. And I will just paraphrase, he made mention of the fact that if we were to be out of the world, we got to be in the world, but not of the world. What does that mean exactly? Let's say I've been saved, and before I came to the Lord, before the Lord found me, I used to smoke nicotine. I had even smoked weed before. I remember I may have done, I tried heroin, I believe. I don't know what it was, some brown something. But when I look, I remember all this today, and I used to drink heavily. I wasn't alcoholic, but whenever I would go out with my friends, we can drink to stupor. So that is the worldly lifestyle. So what Paul is saying is, so an apostle is called from the world to the world. You are in the world but not of the world, meaning your lifestyle. This is where Matthew 5:16 is key. So let your light so shine before men